Good morning, Ronto, and what a morning it is. This is Double Radio, and I'm your host, Conrad Getz, coming at you from my little station with some news for the day. The nicer weather has finally arrived, and with it, a bunch of changes that have been taking place around town. A big one is the appearance of a family of antler beasts wandering through the scar and giving even the Super Mutants there a run for their caps. I've heard there's at least 2 fully grown and 3 younger ones, and they're making their way northeast towards Algonquin. I'd be careful getting too close, though, since the young ones mean the adults will most definitely attack on sight, which would have been good information for those super mutants that got turned into a fine red mist when they tried to snag one for dinner. This report comes to us from a wandering courier by the name of Tony Two Toots, who, when asked about the rather odd nickname, simply said, "You don't want to be close by for the third one." Thank you for the news and the heads up, Tony. More local Toronto, the warmer weather also means the farmers market will be opening up down near Old St. Lawrence Market. Farmers from a bunch of different areas will be making a trip down to sell their wares with as many Brahmin as it takes to load them in. I know there's a few farms that come every year bringing some hard-to-find crops, especially low-radiation maple syrup and apples, which is a treat I'm hoping to get my hands on. Don't get me wrong, I love the Dandy Boy ones, but the candy on those just doesn't taste quite as good as maple. I've also heard word that some new trade caravans are opening up now that the weather has been getting nicer. They're always looking for security and help running their wares between settlements, so if you want to sign up to help out, either as a trader or as a mercenary for hire, you can get in touch with Johnny J at the Can Post located on the lower level of Eaton Central. He's got jobs of all sorts, especially for couriers and travelers. And don't mind the smell. That's not Johnny's fault, but there was a rather nasty scav panda nest formerly next door to the Can Post, and the smell is never easy to get out once they've settled in. At any rate, mercenary fees are 50 caps a day for traveling with the caravans, and courier and trader fees vary depending on ability to travel and what you're trying to sell. Now, I've got something really special for you all out there, Ronto. Hunter still refused to come out with me for this, but I did get a chance to go and meet the rumored pacified pet Deathclaw, also known as Mittens, earlier this week. I managed to make a small hike out to a CPF camp on the outskirts of town, just northeast of the Scar, to meet Mittens and their owner, a super mutant by the name of Postman Polly. Now, normally, the moment I see a super mutant, I tend to run in the opposite direction, but with what I had heard, they're actually pretty calm, relaxing at the camp and befriending all sorts of wasteland critters. But don't just take it from me. I was able to bring a holotape to record a small interview about how they were able to hatch a Deathclaw like Mittens. I've just got to connect it here. Just give me a second.
Hello, Radio Conrad, man. I am Postman Polly. Do not worry. I am not like other mutants. I am nice. So, Polly, how did you come across a 4-legged, docile Deathclaw? Did you hatch it or breed it from others somehow? I found Deathclaw and brought him home for a snack. But he hatched before I could cook him. He finds more food for Polly. Mittens is a good boy. Oh? Well, how did you raise him to be so docile? Do you feed him something in particular? Just meat from raiders that mess with Polly, and grubs from the farm. Mittens loves potatoes the most. Makes them go crunch.
Oh, I am so sorry, Wasteland. It looks like something messed up my holotape of the interview. That's really unfortunate, because Polly was actually a pretty interesting super mutant to talk to. They were a courier that had a run-in with some FEV, but kept themselves together despite the drastic changes, and befriended some CPF soldiers to find a place to call home. They've been there for a couple of years, helping grow crops and other things like that, and using them to befriend scav pandas, mole rats, and all other manner of creatures. And yeah, they hatched a random Deathclaw egg and have been raising this dog-like Deathclaw named Mittens, who really loves eating potatoes and raiders, which makes for a pretty reliable guard dog. And since I can hear you asking out there, yes, I got to play with Mittens. He's very cuddly for a Deathclaw, but I did have to be careful that he didn't snag me, since those claws are still very, very sharp. As long as I kept safe from those, it was truly a lovely time. Of course, there's really no way of knowing whether this is a new evolution of Deathclaws or if Mittens is just a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence, but I'm glad to have encountered this adorable marvel. So often you hear of some wild wasteland findings, but they're always a few degrees separated from who you hear the story from. Actually encountering things like this is such a rarity, and I really feel like Lady Luck shone down on me getting to have this experience. Speaking of wild wasteland encounters, I do want to know, what sort of weird things have you encountered out there? Leave some messages on the Eaton Central Bounty Board or with Johnny J at CanPost for me, and I'll collect them to maybe read out on the air. This has been Conrad Getz for Double Double Radio. I'm going to go and see if I can fix this holotape and maybe transmit that interview at another time. Probably maybe getting another visit from me soon. Double Double Radio, A Fallout Story, is a Voice in the Static production, written, starring, and produced by Edward Grimgrinner Hutchinson. You can find Double Double Radio on Instagram, Facebook, and other social media sites, and there's a merch store through Etsy. Links are in the episode description. Double Double Radio is also made possible with the love and support of listeners and Wastelanders like you. If you want to help support the show on Patreon, that link will also be in the description alongside the list of monthly supporters. Thanks for listening.